everybody, and welcome on into Sidelines, presented by Visit Potter-Tioga. I'm Drew Patrick. On today's episode, we talk sprint football, we talk field hockey, and we talk with cross-country head coach Mike Rohl. Welcome back to Sidelines. Let's talk field hockey now, as joining me at the desk we have August Lewis and Alex Esterling. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having us.
So this past week, and really we're getting towards the latter half of the year, the meat, so to speak, of the schedule. But let's go over last week. Obviously, Wednesday, kind of a heartbreaker for you. What can you take from that game, though, moving forward?
What we've taken going forward from the Slippery Rock game was we have to play and show up for the full game, not just parts or quarters of the game. We have to go all out the entire time.
And I think mentally we have to be strong, not only like physically get to the ball, but also have a good mindset the entire game. Even though they did score on us, we should have came back and still have the mindset that we could win. Yeah,
and it's interesting too, because we've had a lot of games this year that have been close there at the end of the game, and we've come out on top of some. We've been on the wrong side of some. So those late game moments, what is kind of an underrated mental aspect of those games? What do you guys have to do in the cage, telling the defense where to go, or from the forward side especially? What is the key things mentally to keep everyone in those late games?
I know, at least for the forward line, like, we just try and keep the momentum going forward. Like, we can't, coach always says, like, we can't take any plays off. And it's crucial when we are in those, we're getting towards the fourth quarter and we're down by one, and it's like, okay, like, there's no time. We can't think that we're not going to score. We have to keep pushing forward.
I think for the back line, it's the encouragement to try to keep them out, but also to talk to our mids and our forwards to try to hype them up and keep them in a positive state, even though it could be rough in certain situations. And we're just really good at cooking and keeping each other up back there.
So before we get into Seton Hill this weekend, I also want to talk about how the interesting thing of this year that every team in the country really has to deal with was last year, or not really last year. Alex, specifically you're an upperclassman now, and you didn't really get that second year of underclassmanness, if that's even a word. It's not. But so how has your specific not game change, not really mentality, but like leadership style, and knowing that, there's no senior class, so you're it, but this is really your second full season of playing collegiate field hockey?
Well, thinking back to my freshman year and me now, like, I'm two completely different players than I once was, all like in the best way. I've grown to be more of a leader because I honestly don't have a choice, for one, but like, our girls that are younger, that have never had the college experience of playing field hockey at this level, like, they need that. They need it more than I need it now. I had that at least 1 year, so I look at that. But now it's like, okay, we have to have the juniors now take the roles of both the juniors and the seniors and step it up. So my class has done a great job, I think, of doing that.
And in August, you're kind of in the opposite boat there of you had your first season robbed from you, and this is your first season, but your second year here. What has that been like for you to really get your bearings?
It's kind of hard to go from the high school setting and then skipping a whole year of college and then going straight into these harder games. But I think with the coaching and the team, they've really pushed me and helped me kind of get the feel for the college level of play. So that's been very helpful.
So moving forward, all the work then paid off, whether it was just the frustration from Wednesday, but Seton Hill came and a hat trick
Finally.
for you. and a scoreless for you. So both of you guys having those milestones. What did this game mean for you guys to really be back in a win, at a decisive win like that?
Confidence. It gave us straight up confidence, and we needed that. It was such a disappointing loss. It's still frustrating to think back on because it was such a close game, and we had the lead first, and then we do that thing where it's like we kind of like let off a little bit, and then it's too much, and then it's too late. So Seton Hill right after, both were long road trips too. So coming off of the loss, we were like, all right, I mean, here we go, back another 3.5 something hour drive. But we delivered that game, which was great. We needed that, especially going into this week and then the weeks after that. Like, we needed that win.
Yeah, I think it's going to definitely help us move forward to our games this week, since they're harder than what we had Saturday, but I think now we know that we could do that. And the passing the girls had, it was phenomenal. Yeah. So I know if they carry that with them to the games Wednesday and Saturday, we'll do fine.
So this Wednesday, you mentioned IUP comes in. IUP's having themselves a really good year. So what are some of the things that you guys kind of expect for this game, and being back home, not having to be on a 3+ hour bus ride will be nice, but what are some of the things and some of the focuses in that game you guys want to approach?
Well, we definitely know that being home is an advantage on our part, so we completely need to take advantage of that and, you know, bring all the energy that we possibly can. We know that IUP's been like on it this year, so we know that much. We've been working a lot in practice and stepping to ball first. We want to win every 50-50 ball that's possible. So we know they're going to come out strong and aggressive. We need to come out even harder. So we've actually put a pretty big emphasis on that this week so far.
Yeah, I agree with Alex. I think the girls are ready to go out there and be aggressive, and they want to win. So that's a good, you know, mentality to have.
And is there, knowing kind of the offenses you're facing, does your game plan change at all what your focuses are on in the cage?
Well, starting teams, like we went against Westchester and all them, we know they were harder offensively, and they always like have a lot of shots, and this team's really aggressive. So I think defensively our team can hold them down if we just stay on our girls' marks. It's more of a confidence. I just have to have a good mindset going in. So I think with that, we'll be fine.
And then obviously we don't want you to look past that game, but then Saturday is a non-conference opponent in Frostburg, but it's kind of interesting because you're on the road, but you've played in that facility already this year. Does that give you guys any sort of advantage in that, do you think?
I think yes, especially because we won. So it's like, okay, well, we did it before. We can do it again. We know what the surface is like. We know, like, we have the gist of what it feels like. So we just got to go out and get another win.
Yeah, I agree with Alex. Knowing the field, and we already had a good experience on that field, it's just going to, you know, pump us up for that game.
So how much, because I don't think a lot of people realize, how much does the turf feel affect you guys? Because obviously two very different roles you guys have. How does that, any sort of turf condition or turf feel affect you directly?
Well, for me, I feel like it's a lot because the turf, the lines are all different. So we kind of have to go look at the field and examine it so we know our angles a little bit more for the shots that are coming in. And then our clears, depending on the field, could be different. If it's a thicker field, it's harder. But if it's like a smooth field, we know that our clears can be faster, but also the shots can be extremely fast too. So it's really crucial for us to know what kind of field we're going to play on and expect what to get from that.
Yeah, though as soon as we step on the field, like, I just know that our team knows, like, okay, it's going to be a little bit faster, it's going to be a little bit slower. You basically know as soon as you step onto it. And what August said about the lines is also another crucial thing, because it's like, okay, we're used to our home field lines, and then we go to this school and it has like 16 different colored lines, and we're in corners, and I'm still getting confused as to what line I'm supposed to be standing on. But, you know, we warm up, so we have time to adjust and learn their turf.
Yeah, I guess I mean, we have the football, the soccer, and your lines, the field hockey lines. Some of you got lacrosse in there too. You got plenty. Wow, I could imagine how confusing that can be. So at this point of the season, looking towards the end of the season, what are the things that you guys have either yet to accomplish or are looking to accomplish that's going to propel you the rest of the season?
Well, I know individually, like, we have a few girls that, like, still want to get their first goals. And, like, we have teams that we're going to battle that we haven't faced yet. And we also have teams that we're seeing again. I know we want redemption on the ones we're seeing again. Two specific ones are Bloomsburg and Kutztown. We're not jumping to those games because we have conference games that we need to win before we see them. But I definitely think each game, it's really cool to see. We're getting better each game, and you just kind of feel it. So I'm excited for the rest because I think we have a few of them.
Yeah, I think I have 6 more games left, and I know we're definitely looking forward to just going out and dominating all of them so we can make it to playoffs, because that is something we look forward to, and that is our goal. So I know we'll be able to push ourselves to that.
Hey, the best part, too, about the growth that you were talking about is with no senior class, that means everybody's back and can keep growing. That's a really exciting thing. Well, thank you both so much for stopping by. And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere. While this semester will look a little different, we're taking steps to promote a safe campus environment and to help us return to normal faster. You'll notice students and employees wearing face masks that cover their nose and mouth in order to keep you safe. We ask that you do the same to protect your fellow Mounties. Face masks are required inside all campus buildings and should be worn when visiting locations outside of campus as well. Mounties, we're all in this together.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter-Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
Welcome back to Sidelines. Let's talk sprint football now, as joining me at the desk are a pair of athletes, Bryan Bogaczyk, Chase Moser. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Of course.
So let's talk about this past week, and man, oh man, was that one a battle in that. So let's talk, obviously, about the first half. Didn't go the way you guys wanted to in that first half. What were some of the things that just weren't clicking early in that game?
So in the first half, we didn't have a lot of motivation. We came out really flat. We got to come out stronger, you know. And defensively, we all weren't doing our responsibilities. So if we're not filling certain gaps, you know, they're just gonna run right all over us. But I think in the second half, we put it all together, and you know, we played Mountie football, played our brand of football, and came out on top.
Yeah, like what he said, we came out a little flat. But I think the long bus ride had a little factor that everyone's laying down, you know, not on their feet, you know. So I think that plays a little fact, but, halftime we picked it up. Coach told us, we got to work on this and this, and we came out at half and put it to them.
So what was said at the half to try and get that energy, get that motivation back up?
So the first thing Coach Polio said when he came in, he said, boys, we're playing really flat. This isn't the defense I know. This isn't the defense I played with all year. He said, we just got to come out, do what we do best, come back out on top, and this is going to be the best comeback of the season.
Offensively, Coach was like, QBs are making the wrong reads, running backs are hitting the wrong holes, linemen, you're missing your blocks and all that. So it wasn't just certain people or certain groups, it was as a team. And then second half, after he said that, we picked it up and it all worked out.
So yeah, it definitely started to click in that second half. And was there a specific moment that you guys saw that turned the momentum of that game, or was it just a constant barrage of, as you were saying, doing your job?
So I think it was a mix of both, because when we came out, we were all hype. We never gave up, not one point in that game. And first, we were out defense. We kicked off to them, and we held them to 3 and out. We got an interception, and I think that really turned the momentum in our favor.
Yeah, I think the interception really helps a lot, stuff like that. It gets everyone hyped, gets everyone engaged in the game. So, it just, everyone came together and no one gave up. So
the game ends up tied there. You go into overtime, and we can break down each of the overtimes. There was 3 of them. We can break down those overtimes. Defensively, though, you guys got turnovers in that game. What specifically yours, that first one? What did you see on that play, and how did the first important stop come apart?
So they like to run a lot of stretch to the outside. I usually play on the interior defensive line, but Coach moved me outside because he wanted some speed out there. And they were running a lot of RPOs, a lot of stretch. And I just saw he kept the ball and he brought it up. So as Coach says, put your arms up, make sure there's not a lot of throwing lanes. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's in my arms, and I'm just like, oh shoot, I got to turn upfield and start running.
Oh, look what I found!
Yeah, like a football.
And then, obviously, the offense kind of went the wrong way in that first one. But then to be able to get that second opportunity, and what did you see from that second one before we get into the final play? But that second overtime period, another turnover, and offensively though, what happened there in those first couple drives of overtime?
Their defense, they played great defense, usually, because it's a playmaker, he's going to make the plays, he's going to put the ball in play and let our players make other plays. But, they were good defense. There's nothing really more to say.
Definitely a hard-nosed defense, that's for sure.
And then that final good old 2-point conversion off come the thing. So you had one play and only a couple yards to stop. What is first of all, do you even have time to think and come up with what you guys are doing in that one play?
So obviously, we're going to have our call. We're going to get all aligned. But when it's going from the 3 in, it's all just snap, snap, snap. You got to be ready. You got to just hit them. Hopefully everyone does their job, and that's what we all did, and we stopped them. And luckily our offense could punch it in after that.
And speaking of the offense that punched it in, Bryan, what did you see on that play, or what will not be denied attitude on that play? Walk me through that one.
So right as the defense is on the field, they make a huge stop right on the 3-yard line. So Coach called our jumbo package. My mindset going on the field was, I got to score. Nobody can stop me right now. I have to get in the end zone. So the line did their job. Chase got me a good block, and I seen a gap, and I just kept moving.
I was going to say, doing double duty there, going in on that jumbo set. What has that been like for you that was a quick turnaround?
Yeah. So, I love offense, defense. I'll play wherever coaches want me to as long as I can impact the team in a positive way. And at that moment, I wasn't even worried about being exhausted, this or that. It was all just adrenaline. I want to beat this team. We just came back. We're in triple overtime. Just do what you got to do. Lay a block for, Brian Boggs, and hopefully he scores.
And scored he did. So obviously a much more fun bus ride back home after a win like that. But what are the emotions after that, and what are the big takeaways from a game like that?
So I'd say the takeaways are, we all came together at halftime, It shows that we came together as a team, we bonded, and everyone, where we were already in, that really just brought us together, I think, for the rest of the year.
Like he said, there's not really more to say other than that, he explained it very well.
So, and two, I think if there's one thing, you guys deal with adversity all the time. Obviously, last year was just one giant year of adversity. How has dealing with that, and then in this game specifically being down and being able to overcome adversity, that aspect of it going to help you guys moving forward?
I think knowing that we can trust not just our ones, but also our twos in that situation really has a positive impact in the entire team. So it just shows that we have trust in each other and that moving forward that we can trust each other and it won't matter whether it's a 1, 2, 3, everyone's ready to go,
Yeah, a lot of coach has been talking about adversity for the whole season. He told us, especially last week a lot, he said, we're facing adversity, how are you going to handle it? What are you going to do about it? But, we came ready, did our job, and got the job done.
And two, along with that, I think a really underrated thing, especially at this level of football, and the fact that everyone is the same or similar weight, how important the technique aspect of it truly is, especially on the line. But how have you guys seen your specific techniques improve, really having to focus on that to get an edge?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize, even though the weight limit is the same, it's still a very tough brand of football. Technique is king in this league. So if you don't work on your technique, you're not going to get very far. You can be as strong as Eddie Hall if you want, but if you don't know what you're doing, like specifically like on the D-line, if you're not using your hands, you're not going to get anywhere, So technique, I think, is definitely king in this league.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've always said if you want to be a coach of the offensive line or defensive line, start in sprint football because you will have to learn technique and you will have to teach that technique. This week is a pretty big one as Army comes into town. They're coming off a bye. Their last game was a loss to Navy. They're coming in with a high energy. What do you guys have to do to match that early in the game?
So what I think we need to do is I think we need to have a very consistent, great week of practice. Everyone needs to come with intensity. And I've been telling the defense in particular that even though this is a regular season game, it's still a playoff game because us and Army, we're in the same division. We're in the North Division, and we're tied for first place. If we beat these guys, then 10-1, we're going to be in the championship right here in Mansfield. So we just got to come ready with intensity and, hit them right in the mouth from the first play.
Yeah, we just got to have a great week of practice, the best week we've had probably since the season started, but I think we can do it. We got the players, we got the guys, we got the coaches. I think it's just a matter of time on Saturday.
The only really alteration that I guess you guys are going to have to deal with is it's an earlier start time than what you've been used to. Does that affect your preparation at all?
Honestly, I don't think it affects our preparation because our coaches, our coaching staff does a really good job at getting us prepared for that. So we'll probably wake up at like 8 a.m. on game day just to make sure we're up, we're ready, we're moving around, we're not sluggish. And, coaches always do a great job at preparing us. So.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, with an early game is we just got to get up and get moving, get mentally prepared and physically prepared and, get ready to get the job done.
It should be a fun week this week. Thank you both so much for taking the time and stopping by.
Thank you. No problem.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
Pride and passion drives the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. From 55 NCAA championship teams, 294 individual national champs, and counting. Who's next? Make the PSAC yours. PSAC Proud is winning in athletics and in the classroom. Over 3,100 PSAC student athletes are honored as scholar athletes. It's a perfect mix of athletics and academics. It's time to make the PSAC yours.
While this semester will look a little different, we're taking steps to promote a safe campus environment and to help us return to normal faster. Please help us promote a safe campus by washing your hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. Use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer when soap and water are not available. Additional hand sanitizer stations are available throughout campus. Sanitation of high-touch areas around campus have been increased and advanced cleaning techniques have been implemented to limit the risk of transmission. Remember to disinfect personal items like cell phones, computers, and workspaces often. Mounties, we're all in this together.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter-Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
Welcome back to Sidelines. Let's talk cross country as we have head coach Mike Rohl here at the desk. Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Drew. Good to see you.
So we're getting to the nitty gritty, so to speak, of this season as we get closer to the championship season of it. One last race this weekend. With this week kind of right before championships, what is the main focus on this meet coming up?
So we'll actually, things are kind of integrated. We're going to be doing a workout today where they're going to do the first rep pretty fast, settle in, and then finish fast. And then going into the championships, we're going up to Albany, and we're going to try to work on getting out fast, faster than usual, so that they're prepared for that when they get to the championships. Hopefully they don't go out too fast at the championships. So it's kind of do it a little wrong the week before so that you don't do it really wrong the week of the championship.
I like that, though. That's kind of interesting. It's an interesting point, too, of the season because we had talked at the beginning of the year about how this is a really young team on both sides. What about the growth of the team? And let's start with the women's side because we have seen a great growth on that women's side this year. What has stood out to you thus far?
Well, their commitment to being a team is really high, and their support of each other is really is a priority for all of them. The potential was there with this group all along. It's just the first time that we've been able to get them all healthy at the same time. And so that's, I'm not surprised by anything this group is doing, and I think that they're going to get considerably better, but it's just a matter of being healthy and focused for a period of time.
And then on the men's side, again, I could copy that sentence right there of the youth on this team. What have you seen in the growth from the men's side?
So a lot of them are still really learning how to train at the college level, understanding the importance of getting the volume in, and understanding the importance of getting through day-to-day training and grinding, because that's what it comes down to. So I've seen a great deal of growth. One of the young men that I'm most impressed with is Eli Swan, who doesn't have a cross-country background. He only had a track background, so he's really, at first he really struggled, but then he began to transition, see some success, and now he's doing really well. So. And the other younger guys are kind of along the same pattern. David had the most experience with volume of training, and so he adapted quickly, but the rest of them are coming along, and they're making progress. And it's really about their growth and how they're coming along in their own growth.
So obviously, I don't want to look too much past this week, but with that championship race at Kutztown, what is kind of the nuances of that course? Every course is different, you know that, I know that. What are the nuances and the important things of that championship course that you guys haven't had the opportunity to look at yet this year?
Well, nothing really that we're not prepared for. We do a fair amount of hill training, and it's a hilly course. It's also a long course for the women. It's more than 6,000 meters. It's like 150 meters long or something like that, so it's significantly long. And it's one of the more difficult courses that we'll be on. But we've been doing hill work and long hill climbs, so I'm not particularly worried about it. It's hard to get out fast on that course, and it's hard to gauge because it's an uphill. It's kind of a flat downhill, steep uphill, around, and then back down again, so it's hard to judge whether they're out too fast or not. Because of where we're at and their progress, we're going to be more focused on the regional championship than we are on the conference championship as we step through. So hopefully we focus on placing and racing, but then we'll do some comparisons from the Lock Haven meet to the regional meet, which are on the same course.
Yeah, I want to touch on that too, but yeah, if there's one place that definitely you can easily train hills at, it might be this campus.
Yes.
I'm just saying. So in the focuses of the hills, because that was always something that, I mean, granted, not nearly the level you are at, but when I ran, that was always something that you didn't, from my point of view, as a runner and my coach in high school, going way back when, it was something that wasn't stressed as much. How important is stressing technique when going up a hill? Running uphill improves their technique. So that's key to it. And one of the things that I do that's a little different than other coaches is we don't run hills particularly hard. So we don't go out there and try to sprint up the hill or try to hit a certain pace up the hill. I just let them run up the hill with good technique, and then that carries over. You don't have to run hills hard to get the benefit for them, because they're basically building efficiency and muscle recruitment. Yeah, that was a long-winded question on my part. I apologize there. But then let's go to that regional meet. Yes, you have had an opportunity to run at Lock Haven earlier this year. For the returners, that was also their one cross-country race last year, which was also this year, earlier in this year. But so then looking at the regional and knowing that you've been on that course, how much of an advantage is that to young runners?
Well, I think the key to Lock Haven is we know how it runs, we know the length of the course, and it's a fair assessment of their improvement. And one of the things that's really key for the younger runners is, are they improving? So if you focus on that, if they are getting better as runners, the next stage when you get them to a certain level of competency is to see how they race. And so we're still focused on the can we get faster phase, not so much the racing phase. And so they're learning that process. We're probably a full year away with both teams from really having the ability to race at a conference meet as opposed to run fast. There's a slight difference there.
Yeah, Coach, it should be an exciting finish to the year, absolutely, though. And thank you so much for taking the time.
I'm glad to be down here anytime.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere. While this semester will look a little different, we're taking steps to promote a safe campus environment and to help us return to normal faster. You'll notice students and employees wearing face masks that cover their nose and mouth in order to keep you safe. We ask that you do the same to protect your fellow Mounties. Face masks are required inside all campus buildings and should be worn when visiting locations outside of campus as well. Mounties, we're all in this together.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter-Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpotter-tioga.com.
For us folks, to stay up to date on all things Mansfield Athletics, head over to GoMounties.com. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.